Guys, I'm just starting work on the bearing for the conrod, the main conrod on the Powerhammer, which is obviously the one knackered. This is leaded bronze, that phosphor bronze, so I've just got it in the lathe now and just turning it down to the dimensions. Just roughing it down to roughly what I need, and then I'll start filming it properly. Right, all I'm doing here now, guys, is just, this is a piece of phosphor bronze. One second, let's clean the lens. Right, it's just a piece of phosphor bronze, and I'm just lathing it out now. Well, I'm boring it out. I've done the OD to rough dimensions, but I need to make a housing to press this in. So I have a piece of steel here, which I'll probably bore out to be the exact dimensions of my conrod. And then I'll make this ever so slightly too large, press that in, and then bore the internals out to the set size from the pin. So I'm just... Why is it not focusing? Yeah, so I'm just lathing out now, boring it out. Obviously it's a pretty slow process because it can only take, I think I'm taking 2mm cuts with my Myford. But I'm just going to get it to a rough idea, and then Sam's going to come around, we're going to make it properly. Right guys, I'll see you in a bit. There we are, so we've got the rough dimensions now. This is close to what it needs to be, but it's not exact. It's a couple mil over the OD and ID. And then I've saved all, obviously, the filings, all the swarf, so I'll melt that back down with the offcuts and make another bar, so that'll be usable for some of the smaller bearings for my traction engine. So, don't let anything go to waste.
You know, trying to put a scroll through.
Go on, Sam. You've made the... This is a bit too high tolerance for what I'm used to. Like, this is fractions of... what? How many thou is it? Clearance?
1.
1 thou?
Yeah.
So we've gone with 1 thou, because Sam's... So this was the original... Hold on. There we go. This is the original...
1 to 2.
1 to 2 thou. This was the original... Obviously, there's the conrod. So this is the conrod off the Powerhammer, which drives the piston on the back, which obviously creates the airflow. This is the original bushing that was in there. Sam originally machined this, but it was so far out. Well, it's just a complete nightmare. Sam measured this up with the internal bore gauges. And what did we say the average was? It was out by?
Well, from end to end, over 40 mil.
Over.
Was, just under half a mil out.
Yeah, half a mil. So 20 thou, roughly. 20 thou out. So Sam has
20.
been here with his little notepad, because this is kind of... I mean, this is not... I've been studying up, and again, like I say, I've been doing all my pictures here, micrometers, and getting used to them again with the Imperial. Sam's more used to his Imperial stuff. And yeah, so he's had to measure both sides, front and back, to get the throw out on that, which is worn. This is equally wrong, so it made it to sort of like the best that we could, rather than milling that out, because obviously things need to get finished. So anyway, Sam, here, you've seen in the earlier videos, has been brought in for this serious job. So he's just finished boring that out now, so that's a perfect fit for that, isn't it, Sam? I say put the pin in, and it's just ever slight. There you go. And that clearance there is just for the oil, obviously, because it needs to have like a bed of oil around it. But you can't have too much, because then obviously you create like a slap with the rod.
This will bed in now, and then, you know, probably after you've run it for, I don't know, I'm guessing here, maybe 100 hours or something. Probably like 4 hours.
Yeah, I mean,
it'll have slapped about, and you know.
Well, the original here, I mean, you can see. You take that out, you can see. This is from the factory, effectively.
What it was is that the hole in that is machined.
He's on about this.
Not perpendicular.
Yeah.
That hole isn't perpendicular to that. Now, I naively thinking that these little chaps that had made this might have clocked off that, or at least set that up and bored through. But I think they've done it with a cordless drill with a blacksmith. Yeah.
But me forge, like, yeah.
So I couldn't clock up off the inside of the bush because it was in that much of a mess to try and get it right.
That was super
so I just
bright.
clocked off the face of that. clocked off the face of that and that to get the plane right. Set the boring bar down, it was cutting mint at the top. It cleaned it out just nice. It was a nice fit. But then at the bottom,
yeah, you can see that
because of the run out.
So it's pretty awful, considering this was factory new and never used. So Sam just said, just cut your losses and make a new one. So that's what we've done. This was originally a solid bar of leaded bronze. I think I've got footage of me turning the initial. I've turned it down to like a rough cut. So it's like 2 mil over internally and externally. Sam's made this here.
This is just a jig to emulate the... We've bored this jig to the exact size of that. So you press that in, bore it, pull it out. When you press it in there, it'll still have more or less the same fit. Yeah,
that's totally new to me. I've never heard of this before. I didn't know. Like I say, my experience is way off. So Sam was, the idea behind that is because this bearing is going to be sat inside the conrod, effectively. This is like a sacrificial, as it were being worked inside the conrod. So you know it's the right fit. If that makes sense. So, Sam's on about now just cutting a couple of journals, like the original one, for the oil to sit in. Because on this pin, the way the oil's fed through, you've got oil fed in through here, and it goes into the pin there, where the oil will sit.
We'll cut them journals in there now, just hold the oil in, just gives it somewhere for the oil to hold.
So yeah, I've got some footage of this, but this is kind of, I didn't want to, pester Sam while he's doing this, because it's more stuff
I've never done it before, so I've got to concentrate.
Well, yeah, it's just, long day and then coming and doing this as a favour, so it's...
We'll face this off as well, obviously. Get rid of that.
So hopefully you should be able to see me putting the Powerhammer back together soon. And like I say, we've got the drip feed oilers ready to go. So it's all coming together. Sam's been a vital part of the rebuild, as you've seen in the other videos. But we'll check in later. Using the ultimate press.
Yeah. Need to get the label printer out and put the mega press.
Yeah, good idea. The old safety specs on. How's it looking? Is it going or?
Alright, yeah, just making sure it's not. Just thinking before, I should have chamfered the.
Yeah, the inside doesn't matter. The conrod didn't matter. It's going in it. Big moment, guys. It loves the drama. Look at that. Beautiful.
I had to knock it out, remember?
Yeah. Got the video of it.
Yeah.
Got the video of you knocking it out. So there we are, guys. That's the pin sorted. With the oil in. And it has, the oil works, obviously, the little the feed there. So that's great. Ready to be put back together now.